What's going on, everybody? Sorry about those technical difficulties, but I am back. You guys, we have breaking news that could actually be the nail in the coffin for Erika Giraldi. What am I talking about, y'all? Do you know how there's been the hustler and housewife? Everybody's been like, does Erika know? From the last episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they were like, PK was like, I don't know. I think Erika's a victim. I think she's been controlled. And I think she is still being controlled, y'all. We can put all this we can put it to rest because what is going on? What is going on right now? It looks like Erika might actually be the mastermind. And who better, right? Who better, right? Who better? One second. There we go. Hold on. Who better to blow up her spot? Who better to blow up her spot than none other than Bethany Frankel, right? Who better to blow up her spot than Bethany Frankel? Now, how do we know Bethany Frankel is blowing up her spot? Y'all, let's just get to the story. People.com. Again, you guys, this is so huge. People.com is, hey, what's up, Cassandra? What's going on? Hold on really quick. Let me just invite a few people into the room and we're going to get into the people.com story. We are going to get into it. I need a few lovely, lovely people here. Let me just send some links out. One second. Let's just get everybody. Hey, B, what's going on? Yes, we're back. Hold on. We're just giving everybody a chance to enter the room. A few more people. But you guys, this was reported by people.com. It is super legit. Now, listen, let me just say, Bethany Frankel is a hater from the core of her being, regardless if you like it or hate it. Bethany is a hater. She is a so-called alpha female, but Bethany is usually not wrong, and Bethany does not lie. And Bethany is not only calling BS on this fictitious narrative that Erika is trying to build, but she's also saying that everybody at Bravo doesn't believe her, is laughing at her, including a Mr. Andy Cohen. Yes, pour that drink, B. This is going to be good. Good, right? This is going to be good. Now, let me just get this stuff going on so I can, let's actually make a quick post. I'm going to post it on my YouTube. So we'll post it on the new YouTube, right? Let's make a nice little community post, shall we? While we're waiting for everybody. Now, has anybody read the people.com article? It doesn't matter. We're about to get into it. And you know what? I have to say that when it comes to this information, right? When it comes to information, I wasn't surprised because after last night's performance, I really had no proof, but I was pretty certain that Erika was conning and hustling us all. When Erika lies, she tries to make up these fantastic lies to really honestly go with what's going on current events, but it never actually quite works out because Erika's just a bad liar. Do you know what I'm saying? She's just a bad liar. So listen, let's do this. Let's post this on so few people know that I am actually here, that I exist. We'll get a few more people in the room. But you guys, what did you think about last night's episodes, right? What did you think of last night's episode, right? What did you think? What do you think? What did you think? We're going to post this really quick. And then I'm just going to make a quick post onto Instagram. Oh, you know what? I've done enough, right? I've done enough. Let me actually talk to the 22 people who's here, right? Let me just post a quick post on Instagram while we wait for people to come into the room. For anybody that is joining and watching the playback, there will be timestamps below as soon as this hits, right? As soon as this hits, there will be timestamps. Okay. So have I done enough? I don't know. Hold on. Let me just put live down. Okay, guys, hold on. There's going to be timestamps, right? There's going to be timestamps. I just wanted to fly on here. Sorry for being so discombobulated, right? Sorry for being so discombobulated. No, I'm working on not saying. Okay, now let's get to this. Yes, okay, fine, Cassandra. Cassandra said the show must go on. All right, let's take this to the streets, right? Let's talk about an article that actually just posted 5 hours ago on people.com. There's going to be a link to the article when we get off, but you guys, the plot has thickened. What do I mean from that? Bethany Frankel, and she quote, this isn't people.com just piecing stuff together. She gave quotes. She said, Bethany Frankel says that she heard about Erika Girardi's ex Tom's financial troubles 4 years ago. She literally said, things take a long time to come out, but everybody in that industry knew about it. And the former Real Housewives of New York City star Bethany Frankel, for one, says she is not surprised when she found out about Erika and Tom's legal troubles. Y'all, during Thursday's episode of her Just Be on her iHeartRadio podcast, the former Real Housewives of New York City star, right, brought up the estranged couple while discussing stars who have been canceled or demoted over the years. Now, Erika gives a little bit of tea. She says that Erika has actually been low-key demoted. Bethany insisted that Erika 50 has been semi-demoted due to scandal and said she hasn't been watching the drama unfold in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this season, but she claims she has a specific perspective on Erika and Tom's situation due to her ex-fiance, Dennis Shield. If you guys don't know, Dennis is her ex-fiance that tragically committed suicide. May he rest in peace, right? I'm speaking on him because Bethany's speaking on him, right? Dennis Shields, who died in 2018 at age 51. Dennis actually knew Tom, right? Who's 82, because they both worked in the legal space. For you don't know, Dennis was an attorney. I think he might have actually been on Housewives when she talked about him. And of course, when he passed, Bethany was devastated, right? Bethany says, after learning years ago that Erika was spending a crazy amount of money, including $40,000 a month on glam, Frankel, who felt that lifestyle would be hard to sustain, bought it up the show. Y'all, this goes back to what I'm saying. Bethany is the biggest hater. Bethany didn't know anything was wrong except for how's Erika spending $40,000 a month. Now that's just to say it's not just Erika. Bethany really does have a problem with people flashing their money, even though Bethany wants to be the only one that flashes her money. But this is where hating goes, right? Because, right? She said, Dennis is her ex that is no longer with us. Dennis said to me, he doesn't have it like that. He owes me money. He owes me $500,000. I know this other guy he owes $1.5 million to. He doesn't have money. He owes everybody, Franklin goes on to say. And she said, right? What are you talking about? How is she flying around on private planes? And Dennis said, it's because he's using people's money to support her lifestyle. He's using the company's money to support her lifestyle. Dennis said this, and I said, what are you talking about, y'all? Do you know why this is so explosive? This is also so explosive because remember that dumb story that Erika told that everybody's laughing, clowning her about last episode about the house being broken into? There's more to the story. We're getting into it, right? More that Bethany said, but let me just pause, right? Remember that dumb story, right? That Erika tried to let us all know in episode 17 that Tom was confronted in the house by an intruder, but it doesn't look like the intruder touched him, but he had to go to the hospital for glaucoma surgery, basically to get LASIK because the stress of seeing somebody in his house made his, and what did he say, antibodies act up in his eyes. I think she actually said antibodies or something. I remember one of the things I put up forth was, wait a second, right? Wait a second. What if, right? We're looking at Tom stealing from the victims, right? We're looking at Tom lying and stealing from the creditors, right? But the one thing that I said that maybe a lot of you guys thought is, if his avenues for borrowing money was out, how do you know Tom didn't start taking personal loans from friends, from coworkers, from associates, like not official loans from lending companies, but from friends and family and whatnot, and other people in the industry. And how do you know when that didn't run out? He started taking money from people that were willing to do more than give lip service to get the money back. Because for somebody showing up at your house, if Erika is to be believed, I know she's a huge liar, but for somebody showing up at your house, right? For somebody showing up at your house, for somebody actually doing this, it sounds to me like somebody that you owed money to illegal under the table showed up with a few baseball bats and metal rings to let it go. You guys, hey everybody, there's 60 people in this thing. I know it's a last minute live. Please hit the like button. And if there are any bloggers in my live lurking that you're going to actually take this story and put it on your own channel, I know information is free, but please give me a shout out and say that you saw it at my channel. Likewise, my little Tattle Tells. If you see anybody else reporting about it, please let them know that I actually talked about it and referred to me. That is all I'm saying, right? That is all I am saying. So here's where we go, right? So back to where it is, right? Let me just paraphrase. Let me catch you guys up. Said Dennis X said he doesn't have it like that. So let me catch everybody up for just joining. I'm just going to paraphrase, right? Bethany was like, how's she affording $40,000 a month in glam? Her ex Dennis, who is no longer with us, said he doesn't have it like that. He owes me money. He owes me $500,000. I know this other guy he owes $1.5 million to. Dennis is not talking about lending companies. He's talking about private individuals, right? He owes everybody money. And Bethany said, what are you talking about? How's she flying around on private jets? And he said, because he's using other people's money to support her lifestyle. He's using the company's money to support her lifestyle. Bethany then goes on and says, what are you talking about? And Dennis was like, yeah, no, he owes me money and it aggravates everybody. Bethany goes on to say that she responded, why would he do that? And he goes, because he can't say no to her. Frankel then goes on to say that Tom's financial issues were widely known, best kept secret in the legal industry. She then recalled the conversations Shields had with Shields' Dennis, right? Her deceased ex, who was also a lawyer. That's how he knows all this. And Tom owes her money, at least $1 million. She then recalled the conversation Shield has with an unnamed billionaire lawyer about the matter. Now, this is a little blind item, my little Tattle Tells, that I'm going to get to, because who's the unnamed billionaire lawyer? There can't be that many billionaire lawyers. I know Tom Girardi was trying to put himself up as one, but there can't be many or maybe he's a billionaire and he has a law degree. You guys, for those of you guys that are joining us, it's been widely reported in people.com. We're going to take questions in chat in a second, right? Anybody that wants to join the live chat, I'm going to drop the stream. But first, let me get into this, right? When Dennis told the billionaire lawyer, do you know Erika Jane spends $50,000 a month on her hair and makeup? The guy was like, what? He owes everybody money. He's being sued by everybody. So it was a thing. So I knew about it. This is what Bethany said. She said, so this was a thing. I knew about it, right? Bethany goes on to say, this is just what happens. Things take a long time to come out, but everybody in that industry knew about it. And all these major lawyers that I'm talking about around the country that are in the industry, they all knew about it. She goes on to say, this is on her podcast, right? Just Be. She goes on to say, and I told Erika's makeup artist, Christopher Buckle, about it. And I told Andy Cohen about it, just to say, it's not what you think. Now, Frankel also said she told Erika's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills co-star Lisa Rinna and Kyle Richards that the Girardis don't have it like that. Y'all, Lisa Rinna knew 4 years ago that Erika didn't have anything. Kyle Richards knew 4 years ago that these rumors were circling about, and Erika Bethany even said she doesn't have it like that. They knew all of this, and they still sat there and threw Sutton under the bus. Y'all, say what you want about Bethany. She is the messiest bee in the building, and I love her for it. Let's get into some more of what she's saying, right? So when this came out, Andy Cohen called Bethany. This is Bethany's old words. And he goes, holy shit, you really do know it all. You told me about this years ago, right? And Bethany said, yeah, I told you, Hashtag I know it all. So I knew about this whole thing since, probably 2017, 2018. I knew about this. Frankel. So listen, now we have Lisa Rinna, Kyle Richards, and Andy Cohen, knowing that Bethany personally told them that Tom was stealing money from his clients, stealing money from lenders, and not only that, he owed big name people in the legal field personal loans. And this was told to her by Bethany's then fiance, Dennis, who was also an attorney, right? And they all knew this. Now let's fast forward to the winter of 2020, where Sutton is asking crazy questions. And Kyle is like, I don't know. And Brenda's like, we don't know this is true. I'm going to stand till the end. And Andy Cohen asking her softball questions on Twitter, defending her, saying, I don't think Erika knew. Y'all, right? Yes, Ron Richards, somebody tag Ron Richards, because can Bethany be called as a thing? But here's the thing also. Bethany goes on to say more. This is not over, but let's take a pause here and actually recap. This actually lets you know also, in my opinion, why Erika had such the bully mentality. Because if Bethany knew about this, and she is in New York, she's not even in California legal circles. If Bethany knew that Tom owed her fiance $1 million and owed another guy $1.5 million, and everybody was getting aggravated because he's throwing money around to fund Erika's lifestyle, because according to Bethany, Tom was really eager to please Erika. And if he was that eager to please Erika, it makes you wonder, right? If he was that eager to please Erika, it really makes you wonder, was Erika the hustler and the housewife? You look at Erika's cold demeanor, right? You look at the way she thinks she runs those girls, the way she bullies, the way she intimidates, the way she cries. It's really, really crazy, mad manipulation. You look at all that. Is it so hard to believe that Tom's kids were always afraid? We're going to get back to what Bethany said in a moment, but I wanted to take a moment and recap. Lisa knew, Kyle knew, Andy Cohen knew. So why were they acting so shocked when the LA Times article came out? When the LA Times article came out, that should have been confirmation. You already have a good personal friend, and Kyle and Bethany are tight. Bethany used to work for Kyle. They already have a close personal relationship. An article comes out. You've already heard, this person. Article comes out in the LA Times with corroborated effect. Everybody knows Tom's been stealing. They just don't know how much. And they still threw Sutton under the bridge. They still threw Sutton underneath the bus doing this. Y'all, this gets deep, right? Frankel, who said she doesn't know Erika well, went on to criticize the stars within the franchise for flaunting their wealth. Go on, Erika. Bethany, let's hate. For some people, it works out. The money that you're making catches up with the way that you're spending. But for others, it doesn't mean, and that's a dangerous game. If people are flaunting and showing a lot of what they have, very often it's all show and no go. And people are just so tempted. They must show a lifestyle, and you cannot create a life. You cannot create a life out of a lifestyle. You can create a lifestyle out of a life, but you can't lifestyle your way into a life. Girl, we know you're skinny girl, you're rich, right? She said, and I think that people just get so tempted to know everything and say everything instead of just keeping quiet. And that's so much stronger. Shortly after Erika filed for divorce from Tom in November 2020, this is People magazine reporting this, the estranged couple was hit with a lawsuit accusing them of embezzling funds from families who had lost loved ones in 2018, the Boeing plane crash. We know this, right? Tom also later sued by his business partners, resulting in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy petition. The creditors in the bankruptcy case, including Tom's former law partner, Robert Keese, former business partners, Robert Finnerly and Jill O'Callahan, as well as some of the retired attorney's former clients. Erika has also been accused of conspiring with Tom and using her notoriety to hide assets as a bankruptcy trustee continues to investigate Tom and his firm. Earlier this year, the drama was explored on the Hulu documentary, The Housewives of Thing. Y'all, what do you think of this? What do you think about this? I need to know hey, what's up, Mary? I need to know your comments. If anybody would like to give their comments and ask a few questions, I'm going to drop this link right here, right? Listen, EC Bunny, what's up, EC Bunny? Says, Andy loves a beautiful, let's put this comment up here. So not paid by everyone. Hold on. So, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Okay, so here we go. AC Bunny says Andy loves a beautiful, feisty woman with a man self jaw. I understand that, but the fact that Andy is literally acting stupid, like he didn't have a heads up from his buddy of the world, Bethany, and the fact that you know somebody is being accused of these things and you still keep quiet, what does that say about you, right? Listen, from the get-go, you always thought it was a business agreement. I know you did marry him, but you guys, I dropped the Restream link. If you are interested in coming on and talking either in video or in audio, please, please, please. I will say everything. My little Tattle Tells, you guys are a little shy about coming on and talking. I'll be respectful. Come on. Even if you share a different opinion, I enjoy this, right? We are family, and I enjoy the family debate, right? Listen, Miriam, if Bethany is to be believed, this goes far, far, far beyond a business agreement. This goes into Erika had a voracious appetite. Erika had Tom, this old man, wrapped around her finger, maybe with sex, maybe with lust, maybe with mental gains. And he did everything he could to burn his kingdom down and everybody else's to feed her voracious appetite, to feed her voracious appetite. Now, let's not forget that everybody tries to play, even PK tries to paint Erika as like this victim who, she's under, sorry guys, she's under this controlling marriage and she is like such a victim and whatnot. But have we ever considered, right? And I saw it last night, the way she was coldly and stupidly lying to Kyle. Have we ever considered that Erika is the hustler and the housewife? You got someone worth hundreds of millions of dollars to marry you without a prenup, to marry on your third wedding without a prenup, and you were the apple of his eye, and he gave everything. Could it be that Erika's coldness? Now, Bethany is implying that Erika knew, but could it be that Erika's coldness was actually, right, was actually because she's in on it? And even the lies, when she tries to make Tom look ridiculous, that she's trying to spin a dumb lie so that she removes herself from Tom. Tom takes the fall and she rides off in the sunset, not having to worry about anything and getting another sugar daddy. I hate to be this way to another woman, but what Erika's told her with her inconsistency, what Erika has told us with her lies, what Bethany is now saying Erika knew, but not just that, Kyle knew, Rinna knew, and Andy Cohen knew. And Rinna is claiming to be super good friends with Erika. So's Kyle, and so's Andy Cohen. Let me ask you guys a question. If somebody calls your house, or it's super close to you, and they know that your man might either be doing illegal things or might be in a really, really bad financial situation. Hey, Rim, thank you for joining. And they know that your man might be in either possibly illegal at worst and really questionable financial situations. Would your friend not tell you, even if they didn't go through there and be like, oh my God, I heard Tom's stealing and owes everything? Wouldn't they say, girl, listen, just between me and you, what's going on with Tom's finances? Because I heard that he's in a bad situation. Are you looking after yourself? Are you making sure that if something happens with Tom, you will be okay? These people are all saying they're for real friends, they're not just fake friends, right? So you need to wonder, where were the warnings that a friend would give you? Maybe not embarrassing you, but telling you, girl, you might want to save for a rainy day. Something is going on. I've heard things. Bethany called me. Is everything go okay at home? For those of you guys that are just joining us, we are talking about the explosive claims that Bethany Frankel has made that not only did Tom Girardi steal money from victims and creditors, but in the legal circle since 2017, which is when she heard about it, it was the best kept, worst kept secret in legal circles from coast to coast to coast that Tom Girardi, right? That Tom Girardi not only owed those people money, but he was borrowing money from anyone that would listen. He even borrowed money from Bethany's former fiance, Dennis, who unfortunately passed away in 2018, if I'm correct. But the point of the matter is, the reason I'm bringing him up is because Bethany brings him up. I'm dropping the link, right? If anybody wants to join and give their comments, I welcome that. I want to know what you guys think. I'll get to the comments in a second, but I'm just bringing everybody up to date. Y'all, somebody get Ron Richards on the phone, because Bethany 100% could be called to testify. As far even as Rinna, what did Rinna know? And if Rinna already had Bethany telling her this, And if Brenda had all these things saying, why was she still going so hard at Sutton? And they were acting like what Sutton was thinking and feeling is beyond the pale, right? Listen, they are associates at best. I think they're all old Erika favorites because, listen, Crystal Chin, I see what you're saying, but if we are to believe them, the way Rinna is going in hard had Rinna not been defending, I would believe that about Kyle, right? I would believe that about Kyle. But had Rinna not been going so hard to defend Erika, she acts like Erika is a blood relative. She acts like she is tied to Erika, even though she has nothing to gain from defending her. I would believe that, but Rinna is going 10 toes down like her and Erika are very, very, very tight. So for Kyle, I would believe that. Erika and Rinna seem to be like thieves in a blanket, right? Literally. And Andy Cohen, he went out on Twitter and supported Erika, and on a lot of podcasts, he actually supported Erika too, and he acknowledged that. So I don't know what to make of that. Hey, Moni Love, let's go. What's going on? B, thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Like, comment, and support. Thank you so much, B. Let's get through these comments because I really want to know what you guys have to think. Let's get through these comments. Hold on, guys. Let's get through these comments. I want to see what everybody has to say. Let's see. Let's pin this comment. Let's pin this message. And also, if you are a blogger and you're coming into my stream, welcome. Just make sure that you can give me a shout out and let them know where you heard this from. I know all information is community information, but I took the time to look it up. So, reward me for my work. What's up, Lily? How are you doing? Miriam said, if I was in the office, I would call. You have some thoughts. Listen, we might do a special late night edition. Oh, wait, but you're going to be out with friends later on tonight. So whenever we get around it, because welcome, ACE. How are you doing? And hey, Marar, what's going on? Whenever you get around to it, we will have, right? Now, what's the next thing that said? Erika and Tom fed off each other's narcissism. Minerva, welcome, my little Tattle Tell. You know what? I don't know if Erika is a narcissist or Tom's a narcissist, as opposed if they are just criminal con artists. A lot of times we talk about like narcissism. Erika has shown very narcissistic traits, and there has to be something missing to literally spend life-changing money on a shirt or on couture or on $1.5 million painting when you know that there are widows and victims and burn survivors that need the money. So I agree with you. There needs to be something missing. But to actually say they are not, no, I'm not letting them off that easy. I don't believe they're narcissists. I think they have narcissistic tendencies, but I'm not letting them off this. They are just cold, calculating people, right? Thank you, Rem. ACE Bunny says, the timeline fits. Tom didn't start stealing from his law firm until he married Erika. He didn't start stealing during... EC Bunny, you are... EHC Bunny, right? You are spot on. The timeline fits. Even as far as they go back, the stealing started once she decided she wanted to be Erika Jane. Once she got married, once she needed a glam squad and she needed this. You guys, we keep looking at Tom as this cold, maniacal person, and I'm not saying he's not. But every person, every villain, they all have their weakness. This woman did get him to marry her without a prenup, right? And I am pro-woman. It pains me to say this, but the more evidence is piling up that, Erika, forget about you being a co-conspirator. You might have been the person pushing Tom to do this, withholding affection, which had him wrapped around the finger. And now that Tom's going down, these dumb lies, because you're trying to make yourself look like you're being controlled by Tom and you're a victim of Tom, when that is not the situation at all. Now, right? To your point, it is true. Also, one thing that people don't talk about, the timeline between Tom's second marriage and Erika getting married, they do overlap. Now, I know they got divorced. I think the wife signed a gag order or an NDA. She got her settlement, but she did go back to court and sue Tom because Tom stopped paying her alimony shortly after him and Erika got married. And Tom had the money back then. I don't know, maybe Erika's the controlling one. Maybe Erika's the mastermind. And how Erika said, I'm smart, I can do that. She was a hustler. She is, and I'm not, doing shade to anybody's hustle, but guys, we have to sit here and actually look at what's going on. This is blowing my mind, and everything is literally, this is blowing my mind, and everything is now just making me look at things completely different. It's looking completely different. Let's see what else was thing, right? Exactly. So realistic counselor said, I'm thinking the same thing. She is a master manipulator. Cassandra said she probably found out what he was doing and started to blackmail him. You know what? Maybe. Yes, I'm side-eyeing. Olalinka. I hope I'm pronouncing it right? Um, I'm side-eyeing Andy too. The fact that they knew this and they still went along with this, right? And not paid by anyone said, just to show that Andy only cares about the show and for him, if he knew, which of course Bethany told him, he knew it was a gold mine to implode. That's a good point, right? At the end of the day, Andy is like, what is this but a show? And we all know that the Real Housewives, they have a thing where they will come on. They will let you humiliate yourself. They will let you get arrested. They will let you make a fool of yourself. And they only cut you loose when you become too much of a mess. Like the way Dorinda was drinking. When she was a messy drunk, they loved it. But when it turned into hardcore alcoholism, they cut her short. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? This goes into saying she probably was extorting him to fund her lifestyle because she knew it was unsafe. Maybe, but again, you can extort somebody with more than just threats. Sometimes it's a threat of taking away your love. Listen, Mayor Cameron said he's deep in that mess, I think. What other comments do we have? B said exactly, lying with dogs and pretending they don't see the fleas jumping. That is a perfect analogy, B. Lovely, B. We also have Andy got dropped as an executive producer. I see why. You're a little messy, the messiest little rays of sunshine, right? Listen, she had her mother defending her, was laden in the bully behavior. Listen, the apple doesn't fall short from the tree. Now, Miriam says, from the get-go, I always thought this was a business agreement. You did, my Virgo queen. And again, I don't know. I think that Tom was actually infatuated. And now looking back to their dealings, I know Tom told Erika to shut up, but I feel like men over a certain age, he's 82. Like when he was like young, like he took dinosaurs to school. It's a different thing. Like internalized misogyny was different then. I'm not making excuses for him, but to tell your wife to shut up in company was kind of like accepted, right? But now I'm looking at all their meetings that they showed on camera where Tom, if you look at the body language, was always leaning into Erika. He was always very eager. He was like, I love it. It's phenomenal. And Erika was always the cool one that was like, you like it? Okay. Oh, what is this? You know, she was always just like, I me no like this dog. Give me something else. It's no good. And Tom was always like, oh, Erika, let me help you. Now, again, this is me playing revisionist history, but y'all, things are really starting to work out, right? Really starting to look out, right? Let's see. I think we went over this with Crystal, right? Every time there's a hint of trouble with the other wives, Erika was quick to say, do you want Tom to look into it? This is true, Crystal. This is true. But I think that's how Erika, like you said, she ruled. This will go into whoever was saying that Erika is a master manipulator. What's the easiest way to make sure, well, at least in The Sopranos, right? I've never been involved in organized crime, but what's the easiest way in every mafia movie? You make sure everybody keeps their mouth shut. Everybody has to be involved in the hit, if that makes any sense, right? You all have to like take a turn hitting the person. And this is how it is in organized crime. Maybe she made sure she had something over everyone, which what goes in the thing that she's a blackmailer. Again, this is all conspiracy fan theory, but you guys, I think there's something to it, right? Cassandra said, nah, that doesn't sound logical. RK Collection, what's up, RK Collection said, maybe, and thank you for coming through and supporting me in Grace's report. RK Collection, all you guys have been rocking with me since before I even had 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much, Mama. Especially RK Collection. I think you might have been actually the first person to comment on one of my little Housewives reviews. But RK Collection says, maybe she does have something to gain by supporting Erika, a secret perhaps. This goes into what Crystal was saying, right? Cassandra said in caps, Erika was a cliff that flipped Tom. I think she was abusive. Cassandra, why you have me dying? I didn't say Tom was cowering in a corner. And that's an interesting theory. And at this point, this is so fantastical, right? I'm making up words. That's how big it is. That you never know. Everything is actually on the table at this point. Everything is on the table at this point. Because after Erika stood there on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and told us that bullshit story with the straight face, and then when Kyle said, what? So when did this happen? And Erika was like, I believe last Saturday. And Kyle was like, wait, so this happened right before Garcelle's party and you still came? And Erika was like, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, right before the party. Y'all, get out of here, right? EHC Bunny said, I question why Ren and Erika are always together like conjoined twins. I think there is some type of financial arrangement that binds the two. I agree too. But a couple of you guys in previous lives had a theory that I thought, like, you guys, come on, who would be that stupid? But this story is full of stupid people, right? That it might not just be in joint arranged finances. It might be that Rinna is actually hiding money from Erika as well. It might be that Rinna is actually hiding money from Erika. Hiding money for Erika as well. Kind of like when the whole feds came for Apollo, Todd and Candy were hiding like cars and like ATVs, and Phaedra sent them over to Candy's house to go get them. Yeah, she might actually be hiding money and assets. Or like you said with the Entwine, maybe she's invested a lot of money in a business, right? And she doesn't want Erika to pull it out, and she only cares about keeping that money. So she's going to help Erika walk that line, right? Red Lipstick said they are both just ... Hey, ACE. ACE says, do you think Kathy knows way more about the situation from her social standing, like at the higher levels? Not that she's affected by it, but it's just knowledgeable calls of social standing. Hold on, guys, really quick. I just got to grab this door. Sorry, guys, I'm back. So, listen, yeah, you know what, ACE? I think this is a valid thing. I think this is a valid thing that actually has a lot of credence. Why do I feel this way? Because remember, you guys don't remember, but the episode when Erika shared what was going on and that Real Housewives, the article hit in the LA Times. Do you guys remember when Erika and Kathy looked at each other? And Kathy said, have you contacted Robert Shapiro yet? Right? Now, for what? So Erika looked back at her and said, well, not yet, because I'm not certain he's Team Tom, right? And Kathy said, oh, okay. Now this is starting to make me look at things a little bit different. One, if you guys, of course you guys know, if you don't, I'll let you know. If you're not American, Robert Shapiro was one of the lawyers on the OJ trial. He made his fame from there, along with Johnny Cochran and Robert Kardashian. Robert Shapiro is now a super prominent powerhouse lawyer in California for criminal defendants. He is now a super high powerhouse lawyer, right? For Erika to go and say, well, I don't know if he's Team Tom. What does that let you know? For Erika to say, I don't know if he's Team Tom, what does that let me know? It lets me know that you only wanted people who were in your pocket to even be around you, right? You guys forget that Erika's counsel, literally, she has new counsel. Her original counsel literally withdrew because they said that the attorney-client trust has been irreparably broken, and they removed themselves to be removed from the case. Now, something happened where 24 hours later, they said, okay, never mind. We'll keep on the case. But then Erika popped up with new attorneys the day after. So usually what happens with that in legal circles is the attorneys pull out. The client says, no, but you don't understand. You're making me look like a liar, right? You're making me look like a liar to everybody because the way you guys are pulling out. So can you just withdraw that petition, right? And then, because it looks bad, it looks really bad for jury, tainting notorious. And then let me get a lawyer. I'll find one quickly, and then I'll fire you. And they were like, all right, fine, go ahead and fire us. But they actually basically pulled out because they said that they couldn't trust this client, right? It makes me think that Erika only wanted lawyers in her pocket. Why would she only want lawyers in her pocket, y'all? Let's think about it. If you only wanted lawyers that were firmly Team Tom and in the pocket, because a lawyer will defend you to the best of your ability. It doesn't matter whether the lawyer thinks that you're guilty or innocent. The lawyer will defend you to the best of the ability. So when it comes into that whole like, oh, I don't know if he's actually Team Tom, it means that you don't know if they're on Tom Girardi's payroll, if Tom isn't blackmailing them. You don't know if they're a part of the con. The fact that you only want to work with lawyers that are under Tom's thumb lets me know, say it with me, that you're part of the con, Erika, that you are part of the con and that you knew. And that you knew. Because if not, why would it matter whether a lawyer was Team Tom or not? Any lawyer you hire is Team Tom. But that's because you knew that everybody knew about what Tom was doing. And some people wanted to keep the filth off of them, like Miss Sutton Stark, right? Forever T said, I believe Erika knew because she was at his office every day when they first got married. She found out and did not care because he was funding a lifestyle she loves. I completely agree with you, Forever T. And I would see that conspiracy theory and I would raise it one and actually say, I think because Erika is a bit of, she's a smart cookie. I think that she was at that law office every day because she wanted to see where the money comes from. She wanted to see how much flowed through the books. She wanted to get a handle on her husband's finances. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I would say any woman should get a handle on her husband's finances. Likewise for husbands with women, right? You want to know what your spouse is actually up to. But I would actually say that she was in that law firm. I would actually say she was in that law firm because, because she wanted to know what's going on. And once she knew where the money was coming from and what the books, I can see her approaching Tom and being like, well, why don't you do it like this? Why don't you do it like that? But I think she wanted to be there to look through the books, to get an idea, to see actually how much money Tom actually had, to see how much she was working with, right? Red Lipstick said, Erika is a mastermind for crimes. It seems like it. Cassandra said, that's why Tom asked that Erika pay his legal team because she has all the money. Think about it. I believe it completely true. Olayinka says, there's no doubt in my mind that Erika knew just, and Olayinka, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Let me know phonetically how you pronounce your name. I don't mean to mispronounce your name. There's no doubt in my mind that Erika knew just as much as Tom. This whole clueless housewife facade is not working. You know why it's not working? Because in the words of Dr. Jackie, her slip is showing. She cannot hide this nasty, bullying, manipulative mastermind that she actually is. She's trying to play poor me, but it's so an opposite of who she is. She can't stand it. Forever T said, so she found out he was cheating and stayed for years, and she just so happened to want to divorce him right before all this came out. Let me tell you something about people that have old husbands that cheat, right? We always assume that if the husband's cheating, the wife is like, oh my God, and crying. But let's just say that Erika was happy maybe when Tom was out cheating because Erika, there are rumors that Erika always had side boyfriends. Even I think her makeup artist or her business manager was like, I can't comment when they asked on the Saucy Spoon whether Erika has ever had a boyfriend, right? Maybe she wanted Tom worn out because he is 82. So how many times can you go? Let's be real. Probably holding hands tires him out like, oh, I had a tough day. And then all Erika has to do is meet him for lunch at the Ruth Chris Steakhouse. And then boom, right? She's getting 25 million. Somebody else has to do things with like decrepitness, right? She's getting 25 million. Somebody else is, making the mattress bounce. And all she has to do is meet him at the Ruth Chris Steakhouse. I mean, honestly, we're assuming that Erika actually loved Tom and she would be jealous because, of course, jealousy, you would not want anybody you care about at all to ever be touched by someone else. I get that. But what if Erika, like Miriam says, if it was a one-sided business arrangement, maybe Erika always looked at it as a business relationship and Tom looked at it as his young, hot wife, Listen, Trudy Ann Barker says, I think I like Bethany now. Hey, what's up, Trudy Ann and all the Tattle Tells? Thank you so much. Yes, hit the like button. There are 248 people in this thing. You guys, I am a strong but mighty YouTube channel. If you like the content, if you like my energy, please hit the like button. Also, if you can't stand the sound of my voice, hit the dislike button on your way out because it all helps the algorithm, Let YouTube know what you really think about me. But listen, I can't stand Bethany. I mean, Bethany has so many personality flaws, but when she's on, she is on. And this is one of the time I'm right with you, Trudy Ann. Bethany for president, right? B said, Yeah, Cassandra, B thinks you're onto something. We also have EHCB Bunny said, I heard that Erika was trained as an NYC escort to give the client everything they want. That's why Tom was so attracted to her. Listen, I'm hesitant to believe, and I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm hesitant to believe that any attractive woman is an escort because honestly, if you're an attractive woman and you're in certain rooms, there are going to be certain people that try to degrade you like that. So until I have proof or evidence that Erika actually was an escort, now we do know that she worked as a stripper at a Jersey strip club, I think, right? We do know that. We know she had a child young. We in an abusive marriage. She left the child for a while. She came out to LA. We do know all of that stuff. Again, you don't have to be an escort to be trained in the ways of giving somebody everything you want. All you have to do is be a master manipulator. And if you're really good at it, you can be a narcissist. I mean, look at allegedly Simon Gabodia. Look at Tom Girardi, the way he gave the victims everything they needed to have trust in him, even when they weren't being paid. And he wasn't an escort, right? So I don't know if Erika was a thing about that, right? Let's see, Marianne, what's up, Marianne said that Erika's a master manipulator, right? Florida said, so did Andy get demoted? I don't think Andy got demoted. Andy, even though he stepped away from executive producer of The Housewives, I think that he actually got some type of deal. Where he gets Watch What Happens Live, and he will be the permanent host of all Housewives shows. Keep an eye on that from Potomac, because I don't think that Nicki Minaj is going to host Potomac anymore. One, I don't think that Andy was going to give up a seat, but two, now that all that thing that's going on about the virus vaccine and whatever with Nicki Minaj, I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Oyayinka says, Erika Jane and Jen Shah just might be sharing this out. You know what? We're going to do a separate live about Jen Shah, because I actually think with Jen Shah, the feds might be picking on her. And it also makes you wonder, right? Who does Erika still have in her pocket? Because Erika's still acting like she's going to get away with this. But who else does she have in her pocket? Because how is Jen Shah being arrested on national TV by the feds and a helicopter and SWAT teams? And Erika Jane, Tom Girardi, and everybody else involved stole hundreds of millions, lied, defrauded, whatever, and not one criminal charge has been brought against them. How is that possible? Not one criminal charge. And what they did was absolutely criminal. Yes, it's civil liabilities, but it was absolutely criminal. Absolutely criminal, right? No, Tom did not pay off his wife number two. As a matter of fact, shortly after him and Erika got married, he stopped paying his agreed to alimony payments. Right? Cassandra said, I really think she has all the money. I think she has all the money too. I do. Or if not all the money, I think because she's such a smart cookie, I think that when she literally spent money like it was water, right? Hey, Brianna, thank you. I'm about to read your comment. She literally spent money. Ola Yinka. Okay, I'll call you Yinka. Thank you, Yinka. All right? Yinka. Okay. Yinka. Okay. I really think that when I say I think she has all the money, I think that she was always submitting bills to Tom's law firm and they paid it like that. I don't think he was actually doing much accounting. I think that Erika was submitting bills, right? Maybe paying whoever. And then once Tom paid the bill, she was like, yeah, let me get that cut. I really do think that Erika might have even been hiding money from Tom. So if that's the case, you still have a lot of the victim's money. And if the creditors come after you, right, they're going to take it and leave you dimeless. I also think from what we see of Erika now and the way she knows how to use her feminine wiles, she might actually have that sugar daddy. The Crazy Days and Nights and the Reddit threads are reporting, who reportedly, allegedly, is Steve Wynn from the Crazy Days and Nights blind item. If you guys haven't seen my last video on Erika, go ahead and take a look. We go into that, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Brianna Cares, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Britannia wants to know, where's that 80 million? Yeah, I want to know where it is too, right? Where's that 80 million Tom had in his checking account? That's true. Didn't Tom just go saying, they say I'm supposed to have, no, why am I doing Simon things? Simon, no, this is Tom. They say I'm supposed to have 80 million, but I'm sorry. We need his cataract glasses because remember when he got confronted by an intruder in his house, he had to have emergency LASIK because the stress of it all messed with the cataracts in his eyes. So this is Tom's seeing eyeglasses. This is Tom. And let me get a little walking stick. Hold on. Let me use my boba straw. They say I have they say I have 80 million, but I looked up and there's no money. Where am I? Who is that? Jesus, is that you? God? Erika, who? Listen, he's literally trying to play blind, deaf, and dumb off the top of his head. That is a new Tom Girardi. But he did have 80 million, and the conservators and even Ron Richards was like, where's the money? Come on, Pop Pop, wake up. Where's the money? Where's the money? Wake up, Pop Pop, where's the money? And Tom, Erika, why do you sound like a man now? Where's Erika? Who am I? Oh, a cliff. Oh, car rolling 6 times. Pass out for 12 hours. Wake up. Have an ankle sprain. Oh no. Tom and his theatrics and Erika, right? Let's see. Who was it saying? Tila Palmer, what's up, girl? Said, let's be real. A woman like that is not doing anything with her eyes closed. She knew. Listen, the fact that, to Crystal's point, that she was visiting the law firm almost every day when they got married. Erika's a goddamn hustler. She was keeping her eyes on his money. She wanted to see, one, where the money was coming from. She wanted to see if he had any sweet young things in his office, and she wanted to make her sit known. She was not letting her payday go, and she knew what she was doing, right? Hey, what's up, Professor Cutie Pie? You are late, but for those of you guys just joining us, we are covering explosive new information about Bethany Frankel and how on her, she literally went on record as saying that not only did Tom was stealing from creditors, Tom was stealing from the victims, but Tom actually had a bunch of personal loans from titans of the legal community from California to New York and back again. It was the best kept, worst kept secret that Tom owed everybody money, was stealing from everybody, lying to everybody to fund Erika's lavish lifestyle. Everybody knew about this. She even owed Bethany's ex $1 million, and everybody was super frustrated. Bethany also goes on to say that she is certain that Erika knew, but not because it was for that, because Erika had Tom wrapped around the finger and he would do anything she said. She then goes on to say, and this is interesting, Rena knew. Hi, because Bethany told her in 2017 or 2018, there's something wrong with that. Everybody's gossiping. They then told Kyle Richards, and he told Andy Cohen, to the point that when the LA Times article hit, Andy Cohen texted Bethany and said, oh my God, you always know everything. You called this, you were right. And she said, yeah, hashtag I always know, which leads you to believe, Rena, Kyle, Andy, whatever, I'm going to support my friend. Erika's innocent until proven guilty. But then what happened? You already know that a good friend of yours is telling you that they're dirty, and then the LA Times posted, and you're still down Sutton's throat, acting like Sutton is just like worried about nothing. It's super insidious, you guys. Lily said the decor in their home was evil personalities. It did look atrocious. It was a historical mansion, right? Ron Richards has been asking, how is she paying? Because she seems to have deep pockets. She seems to have deep pockets, and the court has put a subpoena for her files, not files, but for her bank accounts, and she refuses to comply by it. We'll see where it's going. But again, you guys, how is Jen Shah facing criminal indictment for a multi-level marketing scheme? And Erika literally stole with Tom all that, because they are married, whether she knew about it or not. Based off what Bethany and everybody says, I think she 100% knew. Bethany thinks she 100% knew, right? But even if she didn't know, it is co-property in the state of California. So his debts are her debts, and her debts are his debts. You know what I'm saying, right? Yes, if their assets are frozen, thank you, B. How are they living? That's what Ron Richard wants to know, and that's what he's been digging to see, right? Thank you so much for the super sticker. FN Phenomenal said that's why Lisa is suspect. She owes the boss. She either owes the boss, true, or she's hiding money for her, or there's money in one of the businesses that she put in there that Lisa doesn't want to let go of, Erika is controlling, but I think she's a little bit more than that. Tom looked like Erika's groupie when he met her backstage. Listen, this is a good point, EHC Bunny. Now, the way Erika was trying to paint Tom as this villain that controls her life, when you look at every scene they had together, he always looked at her like and got excited. She literally was his ultimate trophy, and Erika was always like, okay, Tom. Even when Tom gave her that $1.5 million present for her birthday, I keep remembering that painting, the Shingal that he gave her for her birthday, which was $1.5 million. I remember seeing that scene and being like, Erika is so smart, because Erika looked at it and she said, oh, is this for you or is it for me? Now, everybody might have looked at it and been like, Erika, why are you being such a bitch? Like, just be happy. But she was doing that because she wanted to establish on national TV that this $1.5 million painting was given to her as a gift. Because if they got on camera and he said it was a gift, if he ever left her or if she wanted to, it was, even if she stayed, it was her property and it would always be her property because it was given as a gift. When I saw that, that's when I said, Erika's actually really, really smart. Everybody likes to act like she's this dumb little thing that just follows Tom around. But I said that was actually pretty savvy for you to say it on national TV so you could establish ownership. When we know like that, and Tom being a groupie, their relationship is starting to look a lot. Forget about, we've passed, in my mind, whether Erika knew. Based off, you guys are just joining us, based off of Bethany's comments, she 100% knew. Everybody in the legal circles knew, which also draws the California bar into question. Because if everybody knew and you owed so many people money, why didn't the California bar do anything to stop this earlier? But we know why, because the California bar was on this payroll. But I've moved past the fact of, did Erika know? I am firmly in that Ron Richards camp, or I don't know what he thinks, but what he implies that Erika absolutely was a willing partner. I'm on the next level. Was Erika the goddamn mastermind? Was Erika the one pushing him to do this? Was Erika not even an equal partner, but was Erika kind of the one that's just like, yo, come on, Tom, run me that. Run me my money, Tom. And Tom's like, excuse me, young lady. May I get a kiss, young lady? And she was just like, come on, pop, run me my money, run me my money, run me my money. Now, let this be a lesson to anyone that is a gold digger. I guess he went too far, but this is gold digging done right? Because you look at other people, right? Miss Peach Juice Williams that has lost all her power in the situation. I would think that if you are dating a peepaw, that's how you do it. Please, my fortune for a kiss, young lady, my fortune for a kiss. And they're like, come on, people, run me that money. These kisses aren't free. It's expensive to be me. Run me that money, Papa. Come on, come off that money, right? Listen, now this is a good point. Trudy Ann Baker said elder abuse, spending a dementia patient's money. This is a good point, Trudy Ann Baker, and this is what everybody keeps skirting over. If Erika really had serious doubts, if she really saw the decline of Tom's mind, why were you still taking money from him? Why weren't you trying to get him the help he needed? Well, you just sat there and you just took more and more money. Now, she did get caught. Again, Kyle gets on my nerves, but she was the MVP. She did get caught. Let me just check and see if anybody's gotten back to me. She did get caught in the lie, right? She did get caught in the lie about, and when they were in Tahoe, she was like, that's one of the things of trust, letting somebody be you. Tom 100% lets me be myself, right? And then they put 5 days later, right? And then cut to her being like, he's abusive and I have to leave him. I do think in that 5 days, Tom came to her and said, the gig is up, the house of cards is falling, and this is what we're going to do to save ourselves. But now that I know the way how cunning Erika is, I think they basically were like, yo, shut the curtains, get the gat. It's a war room. Let's sit down, right? You remember how Erika sat at that table and she was like that superhero, the villain? And everybody's like, calm down, Ooh, breathe, take it down. And Erika was like, I'm about to go ballistic on all of you. Erika, calm down. Erika sat down at that table with Tom and was like, what are we going to do? And Tom was like, well, young whippersnapper, we can get my dinosaur. And Erika was like, oh God, why did I marry this old man, right? But I think they had a war room strategy. I think they had a war room strategy for a way they could finagle out of this. The only thing I'm worried about, not worried about, but I wonder about now, Erika can't be this bad of a liar. She can't be this stupid. She can't be this arrogant. What if Erika has Tom thinking they're still partners in crime and she's telling these lies in the most dumb way because she's trying to throw Tom under the bus and be like, this is what he told me. This is what he told me. What do you want me to do? Right? And then Tom, right? And then Tom takes the fall and Erika hops, skips, and jumps over to, I don't know, somebody in Dubai, whatever Erika's going to do, right? Okay, this is funny. Jay Stone said, let me find out Erika is beating Tom. That's not funny. Elder abuse is not funny, but that comment was funny. Zion said, who's really helping her with the making up this fictitious caca bullshit? You can see the lies written all over her face. I think, again, to your point, that Erika and Tom sat down and had a war room meeting when he was like, yo, the house of cards is falling. And I'm beginning to think that Erika was so deeply involved in the finances and the business. Erika knew the house of cards were falling because, again, if she was in that office every day that first year they got married, she had her grip on finances. She probably got in and looked over the books, probably to make sure Tom wasn't spending money on any mistresses. I think she had no problem with her mistress, the mistresses wearing Tom out on an old rusty box spring in a trap house corner. And when he came home to her, all she had to do was have dinner with him, at the Marmount or whatever, or the Chateau Marmount. I get that, but I think she probably also looked at it just to make sure he wasn't spending money on anybody but her, right? Let's see what's going on. Professor Cutie Pie. Bethany Frankel has gone and gassed on Erika and Tom. Apparently, she told Andy 4 years ago. She told Erika, Rinna, and Kyle 4 years ago that Tom and Erika, not just Tom and Erika's money was funny, but told them exactly what Dennis said, that he is stealing from the clients, stealing from the creditors, but not only that, he is stealing from even people that were personal relationships because everybody had money that they were loaning him. Everybody, right? Yes, like B says, Zion, she's the worst at lying, but what if she's not so bad at lying? Because she was able to con Tom's ass. And I'm sure she was lying when she was 20 and telling 6-year-old Tom that she loved him. I'm sure she was lying, right? So she could tell a lie when she was conning Tom's ass, which makes me think now if her lies aren't sticking, right? If her lies aren't sticking, it makes me think they're not sticking for a reason. It makes me think, right? Exactly. This is why Lisa sat up under her yesterday's show. Rinna is in deep. I agree they were just sitting there. She is in deep. And also, Rinna doesn't strike me as somebody with a huge moral compass. Rinna seems like she's a hustler. She seems like she goes where the money, and she seems like she goes where the power is. Rinna does not strike me as a big moral authority. So yeah, take with that what you would, right? Let's get through these comments. EHC Bunny says, maybe she pushed him down the hill. I read an article that said a downhill neighbor found Tom in his backyard and he called Erika, who begged him not to call 911. Maybe that was it too. What was that article? Please share where you got that article. I would love to read it. Okay. Yinka said, I agree with you. Zion, you got a lot, or Zane, you got a lot of agreeers. She said EJ's mom could be holding the funds for her. I don't think Erika Jane trusts her mom enough because Erika Jane has a horrible relationship with her mom, right? The sad thing is she really thinks we believe her. I agree, Truman Show, but I don't think it's sad. I think it's funny. I think it's funny to watch it unfold. And I don't care what anybody says. Yes, Ron Richards is being super aggressive. Yes, Ron Richards is making a spectacle out of these things. But you know what? Ron Richards, I believe, is giving the offense that is needed. Because I 100% believe, right? I 100% believe that if Ron Richard was not blasting her on Twitter, she would have got a much better edit on by Bravo. Because how the hell is Bravo being like, oh, Erika, how do you think things went? Oh, sorry. Oh. Remember when he was there, when he was just like holding the camera and he was like, sorry. When you knew the whole time and Bethany said you knew. How is this happening, right? Listen, Zane, he probably owed him money too. I agree. LO said, let's get through these comments. LO said, yes, Erika is one of those people who only want yes men around, even more than that, right? Ooh, This is good. The Truman said Bethany is a Scorpio, so I believe her. That's one thing about Scorpios. They can get messy. They can be vicious, but they ain't never, ever, 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 ever lied. Let's see what ACE has to say. Let me get through these comments. ACE says, Charlie, right? Erika needs more of a crisis management. She needs Jesus and child. Listen, ACE, this house of cards is crumbling. But you know what? If Ron Richards hadn't been out shouting to the hills, who really would have known, right? Who really? Yes, let's talk about that. Remember the fantastical lie she said where she says the doctors wanted to operate on his brain and she refused to allow it? Why did you refuse to allow your 82-year-old husband to have life-saving brain surgery? And not just then, but even at a future time. Let's just play devil's advocate, right? It all happened so quick. She didn't know what to think. I don't want to sign off. What's going to happen to Tom? No, I'm scared. But once everything cooled down and you could go and talk to experts and find the best neurosurgeons before their assets got frozen that money could buy, right? If there's anything you spend money on, it's keeping your brain right. Why didn't you have it then? You know, the fact that you're like, I then saw a slow decline and it was horrible. But you did nothing to do it when you knew the doctors were telling you need surgery. And also, you know why I think she's also really clever? Because there is HIPAA all over America. If anybody's been a doctor, you know, you cannot release medical records or get access to medical records without permission. Now, the thing Erika didn't count on is the court can get access to medical records. But I think at that time, Erika still thought that they had the California legal system in their pocket. Let's keep an eye on the California Supreme Court case to actually see if Erika has the legal system still in her pocket. Because the California Supreme Court case, the LA Times filed suit against the DC bar and against the California bar and said, we need to know every instance of misconduct that Tom has ever been involved with that you guys dismiss because we believe that the people he defrauded and what he did, it goes deeper than anything that we know. And the California bar was like, no, it's confidential. We can't let you know. Why do you need to know that? This is to protect the victims. So the California Supreme Court said, what are you guys talking about? This is not to protect the victims. Release that shit. So the California state bar was like, no, this is like violating our right to privacy and this, that, and the third. So this California Supreme Court told the state bar, you know what? I don't believe this bullshit you're saying, but I'm going to give you some time to show cause. You have, I think, until it was either October 15th or October 31st, or maybe it's the 1st. You have until October to show cause. For those of you guys who don't know, a show cause order is where you show cause as to why our judgment for what you should do is somehow either violates your constitutional amendments or is an undue or adverse hardship that will be unconscionable for us to subject you to. So they basically have to show why it's super, super unfair that they have to show this. If they can get this stay and the judge and the Supreme Court approves the show cause, I would say she might still have the California's legal system still in her pocket. But if they say, yeah, that's bullshit, bar association, show everything Tom ever did, that's when you know that everything's going to crumble, because underneath that is where all the bodies are buried. And I also want to say that I think right now, which Erika didn't count on, and neither did Tom, now that Ron Richards blew it up and we see how rotten the California legal system is, now that all of that happened, all we can say is they're really, really desperate now to show we're not rotten apples. It's not all of us. Complete transparency. So they're doing things in a more harsh manner that they might not have done. Again, I still am wondering, where the hell are the legal charges? If you're arresting Jen Shah and Teresa Guici for lying about her income on a loan document. They were paying the loan. They weren't in default. They just lied about their income on the loan document. And she served how many years in federal crime court? Why is Erika still walking free? Why is Tom looking at assistant living? Why isn't he in the poke out? Why isn't he on locked up on MSNBC, us watching, eating popcorn every Saturday on MSNBC? Like, oh, look, there's Tom Girardi. He's in cell box C. Why isn't this the case, right? Why isn't this the case? Also, if any of you guys would like to join me and give me your opinions, I just dropped the link to dial in the restream. You can either join via audio or you can join video. It's up to you. But I really do want to hear what you guys think. I'm enjoying this conversation. Nobody in my life wants to talk about this except you guys. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're going, right? Jackie F. Hey, what's up, Jackie? Said Jen Shah is a whole different ball game. She was literally the head honcho running a scam ring. And wasn't Tom Girardi? And wasn't Tom Girardi? Right? And wasn't Tom Girardi? Let's look at how much Jen Shah actually defrauded as opposed to Tom Girardi. And quiet as it's kept, is looking like Erika Girardi too, right? Not paid by anyone. Said, I wish I could join. It's okay, Miriam. We're probably going to go live either later on tonight or tomorrow. Well, you'll be working tomorrow too. We'll go live. Don't worry. We'll find the time, right? Yeah, each one is carrying their path in the thing, right? QK said, it's the courts, the victim should sue. Yeah. I agree with that, but the courts are too powerful for the victims to sue at this moment. But if the feds get involved, that might be something else, right? Mrs. Van B said her haughtiness will take her down. She really thought she wouldn't get caught. I agree. We got baby girl saying, do you think the reason Erika flew her glam squad everywhere could be that they each have money to claim for her? I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I think everybody was being used. Everybody was a funnel. And I wouldn't be surprised if Erika was inflating the cost of her glam squad to Tom. One of those things like, okay, we'll just tell him it costs 50. He'll pay you 50 and then you give me 20. I wouldn't be surprised. She is a hustler. Hey, Boxer Girl says, here's the other thing. If you look back at the timelines and court cases, Erika also was served since 2018. That's right. That is right. This is really, really getting super, super insidious, right? Listen, wait, hold on. QK said, just snip your nose and talk, then everyone sounds like Erika. Yes, I think the problem, I look like Lord Voldemort here. Let me stop playing in the camera. I'm so childish. I'm like, look, I look like Lord Voldemort. Okay, let me stop. Let me get back to the thing. Bambi K. Shook says, when the feds mess with others' money, everyone will talk. Maybe, but if everybody's corrupt, and here's the thing, I could talk, but if I'm a judge that turned the other thing or did something illegal, I might be losing everything I own. I think everybody's trying to protect themselves. And right now they're trying to wage what's more protective, protecting Girardi so that nothing comes out, or just throwing him under the bus so that the feds take mercy on me, you know? Clarissa Kirk said, I would die if Simon and Erika wouldn't be that karma. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Clarissa said, if Simon and Erika got together, Erika wouldn't even look at, let me tell you something. Erika, at 25 million that she blew through, that's not even counting the trips and jewelry and diamonds and all that shit that Tom Girardi spent on her. This is just her little allowance. Do you really think that Erika will look twice at Simon Gubadia? Let's be serious. That's Portia's bag. She wouldn't look twice, right? Okay, so EHC Bunny said, I found it while searching for articles about Tom's accident. I didn't burn. Okay, no problem. He said, thank you so much. I'll do a Google search too, right? I was looking for a reason why the cops weren't called. No. That's a great thing, right? QK, I don't agree. I don't think Jen is just as bad. I don't think that she's just as bad. No, Bethany, I thought, is she a Cancer? I thought she was a Scorpio too. I know that she's water. I know that she is water. Let's get a few other comments. Resi Rez says, maybe there's, oh wait, hold on. I have people waiting. Hold on, guys. Clarissa?
Hi.
Hi,
Tisa. How you doing?
Clarissa, can we hear you?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know you could.
Hey, now I can hear you. Hi, Mama. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Hi. You know what? I'm enjoying this show, Miss Tisa. This is unbelievable.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So you guys, thank you so much for being the two people that had the courage to come up and give your opinion. So let's do fighters, take your places, round one. Okay. So let me tell, so you guys jump in, go on. Let me know, first of all, your overall, and then we're going to hash it out.
Okay, so I want to say first thing, I didn't hear about Bethany. So we get scoops from television and stuff like that. So going through YouTube, seeing you say this, I'm like, oh my gosh, Miss Tisa got a scoop right here, because I did not hear about Bethany. But so then now Bethany, my little opinion about Bethany is that she should go into this kind of field because she's such a big businesswoman, but she knows how to get scoops and she really loves this kind of like tea stuff. I mean, she's very professional, but even on the show, I used to get annoyed when I say, "Oh my God, Bethany, you work for $100 million. Why are you always in everybody else's business?" But she loves it and she's really good at it. So,
which makes me think she has Scorpio placements. I agree with you. And not only that, because Bethany built a business from the ground up, you have to know where you can steal in order to be the best thief. Do you see what I'm saying? So she'll have that insider knowledge. I agree with you. Clarissa, what happened, darling? Did she
but I
leave?
think hopefully she'll come back. But I think that you this has been unbelievable. So today was definitely a discovery because I didn't know about this information. But also I want to agree with you about Jen Shah. So when you said that Jen Shah and Erika are different, I agree with you. I think that I think just because Jen Shah presents as a woman of color in some sort, is that we already sense and smell the heat getting a little harder for her. And I'm just thinking, okay, I'm seeing what thank you, Miss Tisa. Yes, absolutely. So I think that people are already going in my community. I'm a gay black man. I see in my own community, people living for Erika and they're already trying to throw Jen on the bus. I think in both ways, if the ladies are criminals, let the courts do what they need to do. But I don't see any difference where we should be giving Erika a pass. Did she know how she know? No. I think what you said, you've been hitting all the bells today. I'm actually a little bit eaten, so but I had to come on today because this was exclusive. This was a bomb. I mean, I can't believe Bethany got involved. And when you said back in New York City, I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. My mind was blown.
Exactly. Thank you so much for coming on. And I need Yinka, I see you waiting. Clarissa, wherever you went, come back. We miss you.
Miss Carissa.
But let me actually, I do think there is something because more importantly, remember when the feds, right? The feds, and especially when it was under Comey, were really, really, really into getting Trump, keeping him in office. I don't want to turn it political, but everybody knows that the feds are controlled by Republicans and very conservative Republicans. Jen Shah, more than being black presenting and having a black husband, Jen Shah is also Muslim too.
That's
so,
right. Oh my God.
I don't want to think that people in a court system would treat people differently just because there's things about them that annoy them. But at the end of the day, we know that judges are judges and they are people. So I do think that there's something too. And I was smelling that around. So it's just funny you saw it too. And I was like, okay.
Because I mean, I'm watching different shows, like different shows pop up, and we see the audience sort of already. The episode of Salt Lake didn't even premiere recently, and before it came out, they already was harder on Jen than they were with Erika. And Erika, I think by omission, she's involved in a lot of it, But today, you just give me. So for months, everybody's been talking about Erika. Today was new information. I have to just give you just respect. This blew my mind. When you added Bethany, you blew my mind. I said, okay, now we took it to the next level. This is crazy.
That's what I said. I said, thank you, Bethany, for being the messy queen that we actually needed to step in and take your reign. I love a messy Scorpio queen. Yinka, thank you so much for joining us. What do you have to say to this conversation that's going on? Yinka?
She might be on mute.
She might. Are you on mute, darling? I can't hear you, Yinka. That's weird. Okay, she's talking. Can you guys hear her? Is that just me?
No. She might have to go out and come back in, probably.
Yeah, Yinka, go out and come back in. I don't know what's going on with the link, but go out and come back in because we cannot hear you. Clarissa, Yinka, and thank you so much. Hi, for joining.
Thank you.
Real quick before you go, I am actually curious, right? Do you think from what you've been watching, because I do find it odd the way people are like, yes, Erika, get it, where it's like, have we become so accustomed to supporting the villain that just because somebody poses in some Fenty Savage with a hashtag kiss my ass haters, that you're just like, like where do you identify with these people? But to that matter, do you think that this is going to turn to criminal charges, or do you feel like it's going to turn to criminal charges?
Well, I mean, that's the question. So for me, with Erika, unless she's lied in papers currently, the potential is there for her to either be, in contempt, or either have to pay some charges. Because I know that those papers, when they do deposition, I know that kind of stuff is very serious. So when you start perjury, here we go, Ms. Tisa. When you start doing perjury and all these kind of lies currently, that could set it up for some issues in the future. I think that what he did, maybe it's his responsibility. She definitely knew about it. I've always told people it felt like their marriage was like the Sopranos, but the white collar version. Basically, you know, Camilla, she knew all the murders that Tony was doing, all the issues. Erika knew all the crimes that he was doing, and she benefited from it. And
That's true. It's
yeah.
like it's a good analogy. Just to interrupt, sorry.
Yeah.
And Yinka, welcome, welcome, welcome. But it's a good analogy in the fact that Carmela for The Sopranos, did she know everybody that was every literal body that was thrown in the Hudson? Absolutely not. Did she know Tony was throwing bodies in the Hudson?
Absolutely. That's right.
That's a very, very, very good thing,
And
right?
she spent that money, had those stacks of cash, and Erika did too. And
Yeah.
you know, I think Erika, she just making a lot of mistakes. But again, today was a big one. This was a big one, Miss Tisa. You really, I'm a loyal viewer now because you're really getting up to that level of Wendy where you're exposing and you really got
Thank you.
And this is it's just big because most of the people that I've watched here and there, they've done the same story, Ronald Richards and blah 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 blah. When you came in today, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up now, because so then I would ask you this because Bethany is she's so brilliant in a way. I mean, she's controversial in both ways. So when she was reading her, the first time she'd ever met her, it was a brilliant scene on Housewives of NYC. I love that show at that time. Do you think that maybe she researched her? Because I feel like Bethany researched people before she sits down with them.
You know what?
And
So it's been I actually do think that Bethany has hardcore narcissistic personality traits just from what I see on camera. You know, and Bethany's smart. She only shows what she wants on camera. But I do believe, Yinka, welcome, welcome, welcome. Say hi if you can hear us. I don't know why we can't hear you.
Oh,
hey,
great.
Okay, yes, hallelujah. Yes. Okay, so Yinka, let me just finish this point and then we'll bring you on. I do think that, yes, absolutely, because Bethany is she's always been very strategic with her partnerships, with her friendships, with everyone. Bethany, especially being that Scorpio, I think Scorpios research people just for fun. When they're bored on the couch, eating like their Cheerios, you know, pouring extra sugar in it, they're just like, hold on, let me do a quick search, right? So I 100% think that she did background on Erika. I think Bethany is a little bit of a hater. Anytime Bethany sees people splashing out money, it annoys her, right?
Okay.
She has issues with that, right? But it was the perfect storm because she was dating someone who was a lawyer who, Dennis, her fiance that unfortunately passed away, he was a lawyer. But not only that, what are the odds that Tom owed him and all his friends money? Which, like I said early in the live, this makes me that story about Tom had an intruder in the house. When I heard that, I was like, one, Erika, why are you always lying? But then I was like, but if it is true, and this is a big if, who else do you owe money to? Are the Sopranos coming and they want their payback? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They pull up and they were like, run me my check. No, you know, and Tom's like, young whippersnapper. No.
Whippersnapper.
No. And they were like, come on, people, run me that money, people. I think that's actually what happened. Yanka, welcome so much to the chat.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone.
Hi. What is your opinion on this?
Hi, guys, all the way from Ireland in Europe.
Oh my gosh.
But, you know, hello.
Shout out to Ireland.
Yeah, I've been watching your videos since the whole Simon and Portia thing, so I'm so happy you dropped this today. I went and Googled the I went and Googled the Bethany thing, and it's so good. I'm so glad that you found that and you're sharing that with us. I just think Erika is the biggest scammer ever. She's probably worse than Tom. I just think she's just worse than Tom. I think the both of them just need to be in jail. I think it could go criminal if Ronald Richards gets access to her bank statements, because she's just full, and all the housewives are just buying the BS that she's just forking out. I'm just like, come on, like only Sutton and even Garcelle now is starting to back down a little bit because she feels like they're icing her out. But to be honest, I'm not surprised that Kyle and Rinna knew about this prior to all this coming out. To be honest, if I was them, I wouldn't say anything either, because you don't want to get someone to court. But yeah, pretty much that's what I really think about it.
So you're not surprised about getting somebody else's bullet, but then what do you say about the way they went in on Sutton about how dare you? What can you say? She's blessed she's anointed in the blood of Christ, and she walks in ordered steps. Like, where was all that? And I was just like, what? You know?
But so last week's episode, when at the dinner in whose house was that dinner in? The dinner basically before Garcelle's dinner, they were at a dinner in Kathy Hilton's house, and essentially Erika was literally throwing threats, not just to Sutton. She was subtly throwing threats to all the housewives, saying, if you go against me, Tom's gonna come after you, and I have a whole pack of lawyers that can come after you also. So I think realistically, even before that threat was made, I think they knew that this was something that Erika could do. So they're all afraid of her coming after them or having Tom come bring his goons after them because clearly, exactly, clearly there's something that she might have on each of the housewives. Maybe a personal secret about, you know, when Kim Richards said, let's talk about the husband, and
Oh
Rinna
Lord,
gets up.
that's right.
Yeah, let's talk about the
I
husband.
love it.
And Rinna also, I mean, Kim also said, eat some bread. I think it's time for Rinna to eat some
Oh,
bread. She
Yes.
hasn't had any bread all season. She
oh
needs some
no.
carbohydrates. So, yeah.
You know, I will say, I agree with everything you said, except for one thing. When you said she was making thinly veiled threats at the
Threats.
table, listen, I am long in tooth, and it's been a long time since I got in a fight. But even I, and as peaceful and cheery and optimistic, would have been like, and you a liar. Now what? Now what,
What's up?
Erika?
Yeah, exactly. What's
Literally,
up?
the way she was so aggressive and demeaning and like
Yes.
literally just punking everybody at the table. Just something in me would have been like, I think you're a
Yes.
liar. Now what,
I
Erika?
think also Carl was playing both sides at that dinner. She was pushing Sutton to say what she had said to her
Yes.
before, but she was also throwing Sutton under the bus. I absolutely agreed. The only reason I think Sutton didn't want to say anything is prior to them all sitting down, Sutton had actually said to Erika, "Can we talk?" Erika had said no. So why are you guys all still pushing for Sutton to have the conversation with Erika when Erika had already said she did not want to have the conversation? So it wasn't that Sutton didn't want to say what she wanted to say. It
Oh,
was that
that's right.
Erika had already said, "I don't want to talk to you."
That's right.
So
And then Kyle called her weak. I mean, that was so wrong.
exactly. And
That you.
Carl, it's like,
Oh, that's
Carl,
so. You're
you're
so
all
right about
saying
that.
stuff in your
Wow.
confessionals. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what, ladies, you are. I mean, you're blowing my mind. I'm going to tell Miss Tista when you said about Bethany. I mean, I'm going to rewatch this because for so many years I watched her and I was so like, she's so rich, she's so beautiful. Why did she do it? You just basically broke her down in an archetype way and said because she's a Scorpio, she's bored. I said, okay, of course that makes sense. So you can be rich and successful, but still be triggered to investigate, and she's brilliant at it. So
Absolutely.
you are you're blowing my mind. I'm going to rewatch this again and again because you
Thank
answered
you so much,
Yes.
Hi.
so many blessings, sister. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on. Hi, Yinkus. Hold on really quick. I'm going to have a few more questions with you. We're going to read some
Okay,
comments.
sure.
Hi, did you want to stay with us or you fading out?
No, I could stay. Yes, I just wanted
Okay,
to give you the
perfect.
flowers. I
Okay.
want to give you the flowers a little bit right quick
Oh,
because I
thank
was
you.
like,
Let me take my flowers. Hold on. Let me put on my bonnet. Shout out to Monique. Let me take my flowers.
fabulous.
Oh
Oh,
my goodness.
This is real life, me waking up, all my hair pushed under the bonnet. So let me take my
wonderful.
flowers with my bonnet. So listen, here's the thing, right? Crystal Chin had a good point. She said Scorpios are not haters on people spending money. They're just irritated by people flaunting what they don't have. You know what? I take what I said about Scorpio, Bethany being a hater. That is correct. Thing because Scorpios hate whenever somebody is not living in the truth, no matter how ugly that truth is. It just disgusts them that they want. It's like if you're a monster, be a monster, but take off those damn bunny ears. So you're right. I take that back about Bethany. She's not a hater. She just doesn't like that. The way all Scorpios can't stand when somebody is fake, right?
Yeah.
Let's actually see, right? Let's see.
I was gonna say she was that way even when she was broke. Like no matter how rich the person was, she was always like, "Oh, wait a minute, y'all not the same way off camera the way you are on camera." That was one of her biggest things.
It is. Now, here to counter, EHC Bunny says Bethany is a hardcore selfish. When she had her own daytime show that lasted for 2 weeks, she wanted me a psych. I hope one day to get to a day where I could say I had an on-air show for 2 weeks, right? She wanted me to work for her because I worked with other groups moving to the internet. All right. Baby said Erika and Tom make Bernie Madoff look thoughtful.
Oh no.
But you know what? This is the point, B. Because we were talking about me and my girlfriend Lala. We were talking about what's going on with the Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff was a monster, but he stole from rich, not even rich, from wealthy people. Now, the fact that he might have ruined some people's fortunes, yes, but he stole from wealthy people where even when it was over, they weren't penniless. Tom and Erika, to me, are, to B's point, even bigger monsters because there's a difference between robbing somebody that has 50 million of 49 million as opposed to robbing somebody that has $50 of $50. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That it just hits harder.
Or people who can't put burn cream on because they don't have the funds to, get the cream for they burn. So I mean, you're right. They.
No, exactly. Now, here's the thing. You have to be proven criminally liable to prosecutor. But Janine, the one thing you're forgetting about are grand jury indictments. At grand jury indictments, in order for them to even levy charges, it's a very long bar. There is no defense. They don't let you know. They just bring people in front of you. And it's basically hearsay saying, like, yeah, I saw Yinka. I saw Hai. They were like, literally, they stole my chips. She stole my bonnet. Like, all this stuff is going on. And then the grand jury is like, you sound credible. Yeah, levy charges against her. So I see what you're saying, but it's a very, very low threshold to get criminal charges levied against you. And honestly, take Erika out. Why isn't Tom have criminal charges? Because we all know he stole that money. And the amounts he stole was over the federal threshold. And a felony, right? So what are we doing, right? Now, dear Dana, to your point, she agrees with you, Hai. She says, they use Sutton as a sacrificial lamb, or was that your point, Yinka? Housewife. Sorry about that. Except Garcelle. Garcelle was smart. Maybe she saw what she was doing, but that might have been also why the next day Cal did that super, super odd thing where she said, "You're weak," and I was like, "If this isn't the biggest case of gaslighting I've ever seen in my life."
Absolutely.
Sense now, because if you're the cat's paw, we got you riled up. You're the sacrificial lamb, and then guess what? We're going to rile you up again because you might be the sacrificial lamb again. Because Sutton, at that point, they're like, Sutton was a friend of a housewife that was upgraded to a housewife because of this drama in the season. They probably thought she ain't even going to be back this season, so let's get rid of her. You know?
That's interesting. I didn't know that part. So then I was going to say this too with and now this is a little off topic. LVP, who, you know, she's controversial in her own way. She's also in that league of Bethany where she's very uber smart and can see things. The thing that I was so frustrated by was they were so mad with her because she was self-producing. She wasn't setting people up, but she was definitely producing and moving things in front of the camera. And I see the ladies doing the same thing. So it's very confusing to me how they was sort of like exercising her for the program, and they're doing the same tactics. The episode yesterday with Kyle, there was a little blog statement that Garcelle made about the cast, and she brought up in front of girls for no reason, it seems like. So it just seemed like, okay, that was what LVP did to you, and y'all said she must go. But now you all are double teaming Sutton and Garcelle, and Crystal has sort of been like a pushover a little bit because she's sort of sitting in the popular girls table.
And Crystal's not a pushover. Crystal is a mean girl that finally found her water. She's the girl. What's the girl in Mean Girls that was always like trying to make fetch happen, right? You know how Mean Girls, Lohan, there was like the dumb one. There was Regina George, but then there was that other girl that was just there, but she was always kind of like the butt of their jokes. That's what that spot Crystal is going for in my mind. I'm just saying, Crystal is an inner mean girl, and she is so jealous of Sutton. And so is Kathy Hilton. They are so jealous of Sutton because unlike everybody else, Dorit and Rob Minkoff and whatever, they're rich, right? Kathy's wealthy. But then there's Sutton, where you guys literally run economies in the third world. When I say Sutton, her husband literally is responsible for the destabilization of the Latin American commodity. When I say Sutton, he is one of the owners and runners of a $2 trillion investment fund.
Wow.
Sutton was, every time she comes to New York, is invited to stay in the Dolce & Gabbana mansion. That is by invite only. She is on the couture list. Every year, they send her a new handmade gold crown. It's only it's called the Contour Club. There's only about 20 wives or maybe 50 wives in the whole world that gets it. And she is invited front row, and everything she wears, I know we look at it, it's like wacky doodle. It is 100% couture. She has had a table at the Met Gala since she first decided she wanted to be in the Met Gala. She owns baseball teams. Sutton makes Kathy look poor. I do think that we were all sitting there, and Crystal was like, I've never heard of Sutton Stark.
Yeah, that was very condescending.
It was, but it also showed me how small-minded they were, where you guys are playing these mean girl things at the Beverly Hills Country Club, and it's your own small little world, but you guys aren't even in the goddamn room that Sutton Stark was in.
And Garcelle did make a good point. Garcelle said, just because you never heard of her does not make her not important. And I was like, yep.
But Garcelle's not stupid. Garcelle knows people that know Sutton. Sutton is a big deal. And Sutton is not what Sutton makes Erika. What am I saying? Sutton makes Kathy Hilton and her husband and the Hilton hotels look like Portia and Simon.
Wow.
Sutton, it's a $2 trillion fund. If anybody's like, well, I Googled Sutton's net worth and she's only worth 2,000, y'all can believe that bullshit if you want. True wealth actually whispers, but go to Sutton's Instagram. Go to her shop that she resells where they have candlestick holders for $80,000, where they have earrings for $500. And Sutton's buying that all with her own money. Sutton is what, and she already came from like a money family, but she is wealthy. And I think that Crystal and Kathy are really jealous, and they're trying to make her feel like an outsider because Sutton has something that they have power. They like. I can't even. I'll do a video about it, but Sutton is.
Well, I think what Tisa, I think you're absolutely right. I remember my mother, God bless her, she used to love this book, this author named Dominic Dunn, and he used to write about the rich. And in that book, they describe how like the people you're describing were not on the internet, they were not in the pages, they actually were very hidden and secret. And it was called the Blue Book. I think that's what they call it, the Blue Bloods, the Blue Book. Where in that book, it was an exclusive book of people who were trillions and this kind of level. And as you describe it, those people were never Googled. You can never Google them. They were always hidden in different things. And yeah.
Now, here's the whole point. When you say like they're hidden, because this is another fallacy. When people are like, oh, why are you buying Hermes belt? Rich people don't buy that. First of all, rich people are the ones keeping Hermes in. Who do you think is buying these $90,000 Birkins, these $100,000 Birkins? Who do you think are buying these $300 million yachts? Who do you think is making this up? But to your point about the Blue Bloods, if you're in that circle, they compete with each other. They flaunt for each other, but it's on such a level that most people don't even know what they're looking at.
That's right.
Yes.
It's like I knew people, and I used to think that somebody that had a pair of Prada jeans on, like, oh my God, he's getting money. Until I met people that their jeans don't have any labels, but their jeans, hold on, my screen freeze. Their jeans don't have any labels, but their jeans are $9,000 a pair because they are handcrafted Japanese denim, where they even made the denim by hand. It's with a special ink that they dip in, and each pair is custom made to laser cut a print out of your body, right? Custom made, and it's $9,000 a pair. That's when I was just like, oh yeah, okay, there's money out there. I never even, okay, all right. I didn't even know this was possible. But back then when I was young, maybe I only recognized Prada's money. Sutton is on that 9,000.
I think so.
It's like, I didn't even know denim could be made by hand, but apparently it can. So yeah.
Right.
So to your point of the Blue Bloods, I think that Crystal and Kathy know, but I think because Sutton doesn't try to kiss their butt and blend into the country crowd, they're literally trying to cannibalize, social systems cannibalize whoever doesn't blend into the social system. That's how they preserve themselves. So they're trying to cannibalize Sutton because Sutton is a reminder that they really are little fish in a big pond. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Amen. Yep.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question, right? What do you think? And this is a little thing. I'm going to drop the link for anybody who wants to join, right? But I want to know, what are your predictions for what's going to happen at the reunion?
Oh my gosh. I think, you know what? I think that Lisa popped up on that show last night. She looked pretty pleased with herself. So I'm thinking that the foursome, the mean girls, as we call them, I think they held their own, unfortunately. I feel like, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm not disappointed with Garcelle. I mean, Sutton is going to do what she's going to do. I don't think she's ever going to get crunk. You know, she's going to do the best she can to defend herself. But I would be probably disappointed in Garcelle if she's not really going to let them have it and say, you know, I feel like as a viewer, I'm going to be disappointed if I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I'm scared of it. That I'm going to be disappointed.
And Yenka, what about you?
I agree with hi, is it? Yes.
Yes.
I think yes, I agree with you. I think Dorit, whatever her name is, the British girl, not. I think herself, Kyle, and who else? Not even Lisa. Lisa was just on the other end. I think Dorit and Kyle managed to kind of stay on the fence. They were playing Switzerland, where they said what they wanted to say in the confessionals, and when Erika wasn't around, but then when Erika was around, they kind of smoothed it out to make it not as bad as what Sutton, for example, was saying. Not that whatever Sutton said was bad, but Sutton was straight to the point, like, your story is not adding up, and to be honest, it's not adding up. Like, if you're gonna lie, have the lie prepared and repeat the same lie over and over until it's embedded in our heads. but you're coming out with every episode with different lies, and it's just not adding up. And I think, like Hai said, I think Garcelle is gonna really be really back down. She's not gonna want to do what she really should. I think she'll stick up for Sutton when she can. Even sometimes I felt like she didn't stick up for Sutton when she should have, which was kind of really, really bothering me a lot. I think Crystal will just be, I think we can all just be friends. Da, 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 da. She needs to go. I hope she doesn't come back next season. And again, I think Andy's going to be very disappointed with the questions because, again, Bethany's just shown us that he knew about this. And I don't think he's going to want to ask the questions that he should ask because, EJ might come for him too.
You know what? That is totally true. Let me just take a minute and just welcome. Listen, Happy Sanford, welcome to the chat. EHC Bunny says Erica's divorce isn't completely settled. Her lawyer hasn't finalized the final numbers because they're still searching for hidden accounts. Good point. Piscean Beauty brings up another point where she says, yes, that dinner scene where they were talking about not seeing Sutton in their country club was so tacky. They don't understand the Hollywood level of wealth is middling at best. Exactly. Now let's see, right? Yes, not even Jackie F. Sutton just doesn't get invited to the Met Gala. Sutton has a permanent table at the Met Gala. Do you know how much money you need to have a permanent lifetime table at the Met Gala? I just can't, right? I will say that too, Scout S says, real wealthy people don't brag about it like Dorit, Erika, and Kyle. I mean, listen, it's like when you were 20, right? I mean, I know when I was 20, I would brag about having like a $5,000 bag. Like, ever see my bag? You see my bag? You see my bag? What? You know what I'm saying? You have like, a new Prada shirt. Did you see this t-shirt? It costs $500. You know what t-shirt
That's right.
You're like looking on the Neiman Marcus site. What do you think I should get next? Because this t-shirt I have is $500, But once you kind of level up, yeah, you have it and it's nice, right? Everybody likes nice things, but you're not bragging about it like, ooh, look at me, Miriam said more gaslighting, right? This is an interesting point. Happy Sanford said, and because she's Southern, they feel she's very small town. I don't know why Erika said that because Erika said that. Well, I have a theory about it, but we'll get back to it, right? Now, this is important. Crystal said, Sutton reminds me of how Kevin Kwan describes, did you guys see, not Crazy Rich Asians, but the bling ring, right? Sutton reminds me of how Kevin Kwan describes the rich older lady, stripped but not sickening. If any guys didn't see the bling ring on Netflix, you have to see it. It delved into California, well, not California, but it's based in California, but truly, truly, truly rich Asian culture. I believe they're like mainland Chinese. But like the billionaires, one, she's like Chinese and Russian. I think it was rumored her dad was an arms dealer, but she is richer than life. And when I say rich, I mean like Kathy Hilton could never. She's not even invited. One girl, I think for Chinese New Year celebration for her friends, she rented out. She closed down every shop on Rodeo Drive and decorated turned the whole 2 blocks into a Chinese New Year celebration, right? Wow. And one girl at her birthday party spent all this cash. It looked like a Midsummer Night Dream. And then it was a dinner party, I think of like maybe 26 people. They all had a vintage Cartier watch as a party favor. Yes. Oh. I mean like crazy wealth. And not even, not even looking like, do what you want. Another one, she wanted this guy to be her assistant, and she bought in racks and racks of couture clothes, and also racks and racks from like some high-end designer, right? Where nothing was before. And she was like, what do you think of these clothes? And he's like, oh, it's nice. And he looked at the tag. He's like, oh my God, this jacket's like $8,000. This is $12,000. And she was like, yeah, we'll take all the racks for him. Not even, money was so flowing, it wasn't even an issue. It was just like, come on.
Wow. But I was going to say too, I agree with the caller, and I'm messing up the name a little bit myself, but what she was saying about the gas, I've seen the gaslighting. So do we remember when, Carol Raswell, which is pretty much not really the most popular character, but she sort of broke the fourth wall when she sort of directed right at Andy. Are you scared of Bethany too? That was one of the things that you can't really talk directly to him. She didn't come back the next year. I'm thinking it was also Nene or some other people who actually talks directly at him at the reunion. So, Miss Monique last year. She also had issues at the reunion, also behind the scene. I mean, she was my favorite last year, but in general, she was standing her truth. So I feel like when the girls get fed up with the Rainmaster, that's what I call them when it comes amongst my friends, the Rainmaster. Sometimes it's a little hard to watch. You see these beautiful women, whether it be whatever descent, sitting there and sort of getting these terrible questions from this man, and they ripping each other apart. It's a little uncomfortable. But when they direct right at him and say, "Wait a minute, what are we doing? We letting this person grill us for 11 hours and totally take away our integrity." When somebody's intelligent enough to say that, they don't come back the next year.
They don't, because listen, they are all slaves on I don't even want to make that analogy, right? But they are all prisoners on the Bravo, the prisoners to their own needs and wants. Now, Scott S. Well, E.H. Bunny says, one of my cousins is married to a Swedish dude who owns a bunch of hotels in Europe. I saw her buy 12 white tees for $400 at a designer store. I buy my white tees from Walmart. Girl, I do too. But
Come
if
on
anybody
now.
wants to send me $400 white tees, it's fine. I'd take that too, right? I don't abstain. Now, I will say that Scout S, I did hear this report too. Scout S says apparently Garcelle and Lisa have the biggest fight of the night at the reunion. Apparently,
Really?
what I've heard, and this is just me reading, I don't have an in at the reunion, or do I? But for what I heard, Erika Andy goes medium on Erika. He doesn't go in on her. She's allowed to wiggle around, and he does that weird thing where he asks a question, and then Erika lies through her teeth, and then Andy looks at her for a second too long, and he says, "Okay,
That's right.
let's move on." That's what he does the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Now, Garcelle and Rinna go at it. It sounds like, from what I've heard, Garcelle holds her own, right? She is a Saggy queen.
Good.
Yes.
When you push Saggies too far, they just let that go. They let that blow. So she is a Saggy queen, but I'm hoping she does actually let it rip. And it's odd to me that Rinna, and we'll see who else, is still defending Erika like they don't know what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say one thing. I was going to say, running last night, I think it was last night when she was on Watch What Happened Live, she sort of, again, was sort of doing that very fake thing. And Sarah Paulson is an actress who I actually liked, but I'm not sure how I like about her now, because she was Team Rinna in that moment. And I'm thinking, so for me in the future, if I was a cast member of Rinna, and she was ever on the season, I'd be like, okay, first day before taping, girl, you said we're not friends, so you are never going to be asking me any kind of personal questions ever again, because you said that the reason that you asked questions to Denise is because you were her best friend. At least you said it to her face. Now, when she's gone or behind the scene or in the confession room, she ain't my friend. I don't know her well. I'm sticking up for Erika because she's my real friend. That's why I'm not asking her questions. But when you beg these girls, you beg Garcelle and everybody else, I'm only interrogating you. I'm only disrespecting you because I'm your sister. You can never get away with that again. If I was on that cast, never. Because we are co-workers. So you can't ask me anything.
So for those of you guys that don't know, just a shout out, Colby Cole, thank you so much for the super chat. He said, this woman, you're talking about Erika, stripped for men eating hot wings.
Oh, Lord.
He's literally going back to the bada bing or whatever this thing was.
Maybe she's gone back there. Who knows?
She would know. Colby said, Eric, quiet as his cat. I heard, shout out to fucking Geneva, I heard that she used to work at the Bada Bing strip club for Tony Soprano and them, right? Oh. But I do think, honestly, when it comes to Garcelle and Lisa Rinna, I did do a recap of Beverly Hills. It's super detailed. You guys know I love to run my mouth. Go on and look at it when you guys get a chance. But do you know what I think Rinna and Garcelle's biggest problem is? Rinna is an unevolved cancer. She's also a hustler. But even though she was an evolved cancer, cancers, everybody does, but cancers hate when you call them on their BS.
Yes.
At the beginning of the season, where she said, right? When she said, no, Denise was my friend. And Garcelle was like, what? What are you talking about? And Rinna was so fake, but I saw that glint in her cancer eye, like, bitch, you just put a target on your back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. She literally had that glint. And I was like, Rinna is not going to let this go. And she is going to enjoy torturing you. And that's exactly what Rinna has been doing. And like a cancer, because sometimes cancers move like a little bit sideways. Not all, that's not true. But sometimes cancers, when they want to, when it suits their thing for hurting you more, they'll move a little bit sideways. Instead of just coming out and being like, well, actually, I didn't like what you said to me when we first sat down about me and Janice. Janice is my friend. I've known her longer than you. It's none of your goddamn business. I did what I did, and you need to deal with it, right? Instead of saying that, she was like, no, I'm mad because you didn't say thank you to Harry for sauce. And there was another time I got you a birthday cake. And yeah, you said their name, but you didn't text me. And I was just like, girl, all right, later. But again, not that cancers are passive aggressive. It's the fact that sometimes cancers, and all people do, but definitely cancer, sometimes when they want to get back at you, they take delight in seeing you squirm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
and seeing you squirm before they put you out of your misery. So right now, that's why Lisa was just sitting there with Erika, like, I'm not going to say anything because I think it's true. You were enjoying that, and you were
Yep.
saying, like, you want to go against me? I'm going to let you just flounder. Go ahead. Have fun, have fun, have fun. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what's up. So, okay, so we do think that hopefully Garcelle goes after Rinna. I don't have high hopes for Sutton because Sutton's issue is Sutton does, you can tell she was raised in a very genteel family. I was raised in a big family, so you have to fight, kick, yell, put somebody to get what you're saying across. Sometimes
That's
you even have
right.
to put your hand over somebody else's mouth so you can speak over them, right? I feel like Sutton was raised in a family that was like, I'm sorry, what were you saying? Oh, okay, your turn to speak, you know? So it's very easy to overtalk her. It's very easy to bulldoze her because she's looking at like these savages, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, she's interrupting me. So I don't know about Sutton. I do hope that Andy kind of runs guard and it's like, shh, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Sutton. Quiet down.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
if it's the Redler thing, I don't know. I think Sutton's going to be drowned out. I just think she is. I think she
Yeah.
is. You know?
Yeah, I think she's going to get it from Erika, from Lisa, from Kyle. I think they all going to. I think just what you said. I think they all going to start trying to fluster her. And I mean, listen, I don't think Sutton is totally wasteless because some of her reads in her confessional. I mean, her confessional has been wonderful. She's been really, really good.
Yes.
Yes.
And she said, I mean, she's holding her own. She said, I think she's a liar. I think this was this. I think, she's really reading the lady in a very classy way. Julia Sugarbaker was just Designing Women reference, whatever, from a little old show back in the day. But so she's good when she can.
Designing Women?
Designing Women with Suzanne and Julia, because so we do have an archetype of a Southern woman who can read. I mean, rip you apart. That was Julia Sugarbaker. I think she need to rewatch some Designing Women, find her inner Southern diva, and really go to the table and really let the girl know. But her reunion, her confessions have been great. She's really been funny and nice and sweet and classy there. But like you said, she gets very flustered in person, and she's a small lady. She's not really powerful of voice, and she can get overwhelmed. She can overwhelm with the ladies. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So she should just come. She should have came in prepared with her moments of quietness when they give her the chance, when they have those moments, and she should lay those zingers out as fast as she can, and then just sort of sit there and look cute until the lady stops screaming at her. Basically.
I hear you. Lisa George, I'm going to do a video about Sutton, but Lisa George actually says that Google says that Sutton's husband's net worth is $2 million. Lisa George, listen, the broke people are on my net worth saying, I'm worth $100 billion. Sutton's husband, right? And they did not have a prenup and they built the company from themselves, was acquired by a hedge fund. They merged, right? They retained ownership. When that hedge fund started growing at their helm, right? That hedge fund, not even future value, but controls $2 trillion. This is a private hedge fund. It's not publicly traded. So that means this is all their money and friends' money they're trading with. Y'all, you can believe that her husband is worth $2 million. If you want, he is responsible for toppling Latin America's currency and getting extraction capitalism in that. I'm not going to go into financial markets, but it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. When I say it doesn't make sense, I would believe that Simon Gabodia is worth 10 million before I believe that Sutton Stark's net worth is $2 million. You need to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You need to add 10 zeros behind that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm on
all
this.
Right. No, literally, it's like, it just cracks me up the way people are like, I just Googled the net worth. Don't you realize that rich people never put their net worth down?
Right.
And pretenders, right? Not broke. Because when I say Simon's broke, he's not working at Walmart, but he has hustler money. If we got money on Monday and 2 weeks from now, I have to order from Little Caesars Pizza. We don't have money. Money is a constant. So we can eat steak and lobster every night.
I agree.
But people like Simon Gabodia, they're the ones paying troll farms to post. I heard he's 40 million. I heard he's 40. Is he worth 40 million? Bitch, he might be. That's what, again, and to you guys' point, this is the whole thing about real wealth. It's not quiet, but they never shout how much they are worth. Because why would you? It's like the most important people on LinkedIn, unless their corporation makes them, but the most important people on LinkedIn, try to go to LinkedIn and message Bill Gates or whoever. Message someone that's really running shit. They don't even have a profile. And if they do, it's an invisible private profile. Nobody can see. They don't take friend requests. They don't take messages. And no, I don't know you. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
say what you want. Say what you want.
Well, I was going to say not to go dark for a minute, because I mean, it's pretty controversial. But Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, that's a terrible thing. But I didn't know who this person was until the documentary came out, and here he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars dealing with all people, and there's a lot of mystery and controversy there. So that's a total different story. But what you're saying is so true, Tisa. It's so true. Is that there's a secret society of people that are invisible who are dealing with the government. I mean, buying off the government, buying off. Dealing with the kings and queens of England. My God. So, there's a society of people that is so high level that they are invisible. They can just sort of go from New York to Bahamas within 7 hours. I mean, it's crazy. So you're absolutely,
yes, to your point, there's an old joke in financial circles where it's like, what is it? Like, EU is run by the people, right? China and Russia is run by the government, right? America and North America, right? Latin America is run by corporations. When you say there is a secret society, I see what you're saying. And we're not talking about Illuminati. We are talking about the way with Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos. If you don't think that presidents, head of states, royalty are not like, hi, Mr. Bezos, do you have time? Can we meet? This and that, blah, blah. If you don't think that's happening, I don't know what to tell you guys. They do run stuff. And the thing is, it's like we were talking in a live a few weeks ago, right? Where it's like, oh, one of my friends, Miriam, I was like, oh, I want to get her set up with somebody, and let's get you somebody that makes like, at least like high 6 figures, 7 figures. And people are like, oh, there's nobody like that. And I'm like, do you guys know how much wealth there is for someone? And again, right? I'm not saying everybody's worth this much, but for someone to be pulling home $1 million in this world, when you literally look at a finance, that's so easy to find. When you look at this world and you really start traveling and you see how many people have money, when you are out on Cannes, when you are in Dubai and you see those, as far as I can see, yachts, as far as I can see, this, that, who do you guys think is buying that? Again, in your country club, there might only be 4 people with a yacht and one of them have a big yacht. But this is the whole point of like money does buy power and influence. And Sutton Stark is a part of that circle with power and influence. And I do think that Kathy Hilton and I think Crystal all know that too. And I think it drives them crazy with jealousy, because if you see Crystal and Kathy, everybody's like, oh, Kathy doesn't brag about what she does. Yes, she does. Having a dinner party for 5 people with a huge caviar pie, that was a rich person's flex. You said, for those that know, that was a rich person's flex. Crystal being like, oh, I pulled out my wedding jewelry. Oh, look at this. We're remodeling. It's all a flex. You're just mad that Sutton's just like, oh, that's cute. Oh, nice caviar bar. That's what you're mad at.
She did that too, didn't she? That's true. But side note, I was going to say, Miss Tisa, I need to be friends with you. You know people making 6 figures. You setting them up. You got to set
me up. My way too.
You got to set me up with a gay husband.
I will just say this. DM me. I'm always looking to set me up. DM me. And also, I think you guys are great guests. I would love to have you guys on at like a later time. We should start coordinating. I would love for you guys to meet Miriam, because you guys know Miriam, not paid by anyone. She is a Virgo queen. What's you guys' sign? First of all, we have to know your sign.
Aries queen. I think you're an
Aries. I love Aries.
I know you're not going to tell me yet.
I'm the Capricorn.
Wait, look at this. Classic Aries Capricorn. The Aries is like, Aries. And Capricorn is like, I'm the Capricorn. I'm the Capricorn.
Oh, Lord. Thank you.
Listen, I love Capricorn. I love Aries. I'm not going to lie, when I get to 20,000 viewers, I'm going to reveal my sign. I am close to it. But don't worry, when I do it, I'll have a celebration and put everybody in. My sign.
What you got to do, you got to have the viewers, and I would love this to be funny, say, guess what my sign is, and we can all sort of join in before you reveal.
Let me take a note. That's a great sign. Yeah. And I will say, though, unless I'm a Gemini, because what would a Gemini do? A Gemini would say, yes, celebration, and guess the sign, and then give you guys a fake sign. A Gemini would do that. So we'll see. 5 years later, be like, oh, girl, I was just joking. I'm not really. I was just saying that. No, but you know what? You guys, thank you so much for joining me. You guys, if you guys can DM me on Instagram, I'll follow back. I would love to have you guys back on. It was super fun.
I'm definitely.
And we got
Thank
Aries,
you so much for having
Capricorn.
us.
Yes, and we have a question mark, other type of energy. But yes, we're going to do this, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye,
All right.
guys.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody. And you guys, thank you so much for joining. Just to let you know, every Monday and Thursday, I go live without fail. I do have to say that if there's any breaking news, I also go live too. And I do live tarot reading. I'll be on tonight to do live tarot reading. But y'all, I'm going to post a few follow-up videos. But how crazy is this Bethany story? The question, no more, just to recap for everybody that's here. The question, no more, is how much Erika knew. No, I'm sorry. The question is not whether Erika knew. Bethany is saying she knew. Everybody knew. Andy Cohen knew. Lisa Rinna knew. Everybody knew. The question is, right? The question is, how much did Erika control? Because now we need to say, was she the housewife or was she the housewife and the hustler? Yes, you know I love ending on a dramatic note. You guys like, follow, subscribe. If you like this, I am on live every Monday and Thursday. If you give a like, I will show up in your feed, even if you don't want to subscribe. So let the algorithm do the easy lifting. And I will see you guys later on tonight for live tarot if you're into that. And if not, maybe I'll see you tomorrow if things get extra messy, all right? Be on the lookout. Thank you so much for everybody for joining. And I'll talk to you later, my little Oh, and B, thank you so much, my darling. And for all my Tattle Tells, Mira Candles, Miss Graves, who am I missing? I'm missing a lot of you guys, but thank you so much, B, for being the best moderator in the world. Lots of love, darling. Thank you, B.